Hello everyone. I would first like to acknowledge as a settler on this land that this announcement is being held on the traditional territory of the Secwepemc people. We just experienced Orange Shirt Day here in Kamloops and around the province in our beautiful country of Canada, a day where Canadians were able to learn about conversations such as Orange Shirt Day and the history and ongoing impact of residential schools. We need to have more conversations like this, which is why I am and will continue to advocate for Indigenous youth voices and on the provincial BC Youth Council. I am committed to listening to and uplifting the voices of marginalized communities so that we can move forward independently united. I would like to thank the Chris Rose Center for hosting us today. As a youth in politics, it has never been easy to have my voice heard, which is why I am so excited to announce that today, I, a 19-year-old, am running to be the next MLA in Kamloops-North Thompson. The fact that the youngest elected MLA in British Columbia is 35 years old has led me to understand that there is no one representing my generation in politics. I am running against the former mayor of Kamloops, and it will be a fight that I am prepared to have for people of Kamloops in a nonpartisan battle. I was ecstatic to see two other youth, including Kate O'Connor from Saanich South, who is currently 17 years old, and Adam Bremer Adkins, who is 18, from Coquitlam Burke, running for provincial politics as well. This is especially exciting on today, because we are the change that BC desperately needs in politics. When it comes to polarizing partisan politics, many people feel that their voices are not heard. I have seen so many of my friends and peers struggle to find a party where people win. It always ends up being the backroom lobbyist that wins every election, which is why I will stand independently united from any one party in Canada and British Columbia. As we begin to exit one of the worst public health crises of our time, we are faced with the aftermath and need to work on quickly and safely reviving our economy by protecting small businesses within our community. And getting money back into the local economy is more important than ever before. People are feeling unstable about their living situation, where most people used up their entire savings to get by during the first wave of COVID-19 pandemic. Doing the economy as we are currently doing so, without a stable plan, would be irresponsible on the government of British Columbia. Which is why we need to look at a long-term solution with a wealth tax that would be designed to help everyone, with more funding for things such as education and climate activism, as well as subsidized childcare and so many other important issues facing the people of Kamloops-North Thompson. Subsidized childcare should be the backbone of our future. By allowing the child to have a safe environment to learn more flexibly than school, you allow the child to take on their own interests and therefore have a passion and dreams to work towards for their future. For all generations to come. In the early 2000s, scientists told us that we should start having a plan in place for future generations to look after the Earth in the wake of climate change. Almost 20 years later, we know that timeline was completely overestimated. The future of the climate emergency is now, and I will work hard to expand clean energy jobs in Kamloops and British Columbia while advocating for a transition to renewable clean energy. This is more important than ever before as we have been faced with the wildfires in Kamloops and California that we are seeing the effects for felt across our country today. For far too long, our education system has not worked for many families. Education systems have been need to be designed to fit the world we live in today, something that distance learning especially has shown us. We need to make sure that students and their families are equipped with the proper technologies and support if they make the decision to stay home, and that there are proper protocols and the supplies necessary going forward for children who plan to attend school, and as we have seen in this September already. Schools like the Chris Rose Center, where we are today, are so important to our society. As a school that has helped many families find help and resources for children with special needs, it frustrates me that with the lack of action taken by the provincial government, after many tries to cut funding and encourages fundraising for many programs such as the Chris Rose Center. For basic educational rights, people are fundraising for basic educational rights. If elected, I will help ensure that more funding is placed back into the hands of educational programs and not tax cuts for fossil fuel emitting companies. We need to work hard to ensure the future of not only Kamloops-North Thompson, but our province. I am going to work hard with the people of British Columbia and work hard with the people of Kamloops-North Thompson to outline a full platform in the coming days that is going to establish a great blend of climate activism as well as activism for social justice, which is still not taken to the extent that we have seen it happen in our province and our community today. We need to work hard to ensure that we have a sustainable future for generations to come. I look forward to working with so many people in Kamloops North over the next 25 days until this election. Thank you, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you to ensuring that we are independently united in Kamloops. Thank you. I will now be taking any media questions if there is any. Yeah, absolutely. So with partisan politics that we've seen in British Columbia, especially within Kamloops, we've seen it to the point where they're not able to fight for issues facing the people of Kamloops. We have, to my knowledge, never had a premier elected from Kamloops that is able to help and assist with writing a platform for people. We're seeing a lot of these politicians coming from Vancouver Island or Vancouver, and we're seeing a lot of interior and Okanagan regions, stretching even up north, get completely ignored when it comes to issues facing us. And it is majority of the time just a party platform that you're expected to work under as a politician under a party banner, but you're expected to work within that without having any local representation. So I think it's critically important that we elect someone that can focus on the issue, on the needs of Kamloops, and not be whipped into a caucus that we're seeing so many other politicians being forced into.
We're going to do the questioning up here. I'm just going to get you to put this on.
Yes, absolutely.
So just slip that under your jacket.
Yep.
Sweet looking jacket there.
Thank you.
Nice suede.
And right about here?
Yeah. I'll put it up. And that just goes in your pocket.
Awesome.
Cool.
Absolutely. So as I was saying, with the youngest MLA currently being 35 in the city of North Vancouver Lonsdale, I believe it is Bowen Ma who is running once again for re-election. But we are faced with the challenges of no millennial or Gen Z voter representation within our provincial politics. We're just seeing the overall voter that is younger, which is making up a huge share of the vote come this election, have no voice right now, which is why we need to see more youth and have more youth voices heard. And I think as someone that has taken a huge interest in politics since a very young age, being very active within Model United Nations and other simulations until I was able to take a step and run for politics where an actual difference can be made. I think it's critical that youth representation is heard, and we just haven't seen that coming from so many people within our communities, especially within the Okanagan and interior regions. Yeah, within education, we've seen the system be failed time and time again. And I think it's so important that we're able to look at education independently from public education to special education to private education, just because there's so many different needs. If you look at a school from 150 years ago and a school from today, they're virtually unchanged in terms of the physical structure of the classroom, yet the needs of people today are so different. Look at, for example, take a phone from 150 years ago and a phone from today. You're going to see virtually no similarities within that phone, right? So why are classrooms remaining virtually unchanged from 150 years ago when so much has changed? Education as well as climate activism. I attended my first climate protest at 8 years old here in Kamloops, realizing that it was something that needed to take a forefront, and I think will be taking a forefront in not only this election but in the next election. It's something that we need to work hard to have a collaborative solution and not just have a party bashing within each party fighting in Victoria right now, and it's something that we need to work within to collectively come up with a solution. Yeah, absolutely. So I attended high school at Valley View Secondary. I am a member of the Kamloops-North Thompson riding. And I've worked within several different areas of the community, working many different jobs within computer resources and sales. I have a background in customer service, which I think is beneficial in politics. It has the ability to listen to the needs of people and find a solution that works for everyone, rather than just finding a solution that works for, the career politician and their friends. We need a solution that's going to work for the majority of constituents in Kamloops, for sure. Yeah, I would slot myself center left in the party, a little bit obviously fiscally responsible, but education and other resources that we're seeing parties take away right now to be, super fiscally conservative is not where it's not going to help anyone in the future generations. But having that social responsibility to people around the world and making sure that human rights stay human rights, and we're able to work within several other communities around the world and within our own province on ensuring that we can have, a future where everyone is moving forward and uniting together rather than becoming more divided as we're seeing. I was looking into becoming a party candidate, but I think right now within the snap election, we saw so many parties scramble to find a candidate based on certain aspects within the application of that candidate. And I don't think it really allowed the opportunity to see youth in politics or diversity in politics. I think it really just kind of allowed for a name on paper and an age on paper to be where politics had moved forward, and that ultimately led me to my decision to run independently. I was looking at multiple different parties that kind of fit within the aspect, because there isn't one party that I agree that fits, checks every box for me. I was looking at possibly seeking my candidacy for the BC Green Party, but after multiple opportunities to chat with senior leadership of the party, as well as work within the riding association and everything, I ultimately went with my decision to run independently, as they were really focusing on, Vancouver Island politics, and we really need someone who's strongly into interior politics and well-versed in interior politics to take that lead, which we're not seeing right now come from any of the major parties. Sorry, could you repeat the question for me? Yeah, absolutely. So we're seeing more policies come into ridings that they have deemed winnable within the province. And I think that that's something that harms the rest of the ridings that are, either leaning liberal, leaning NDP, or leaning Green. We're not seeing a healthy conversation, especially within the snap election. We're just seeing them kind of go to the point of, here's the riding we need to win. Let's focus on just this riding and nowhere else in the province. And I think that's really going to become the forefront of issues that we're seeing across the province for voters that, are looking to vote NDP or voting Green, voting Liberal in a riding that's not necessarily predominantly what that riding goes with for the history of the district. So I think it's something that is interesting for sure of how it's going to play out in this election. Absolutely. I like to say that politics is passion and passion driven. And I don't believe that passion has an age restriction. Passion is something that we all develop at a young age. And I think that as soon as you're able to make decisions that'll lead you to, decisions about future careers and aspects, and do you want to take the road of working a job and working for an employer for the rest of your life, or making a difference within the communities that you serve in public service? And I definitely think my passion led me to go down public service and wanting to help people. So that's what I would say, that passion doesn't have an age restriction for sure. Alrighty. Thank you so much, and I look forward to working with each one of you.